Hello everyone, this is part 19 of What If Naruto Was in Rosario Vampire, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. My parents are talking about pulling me out of the academy. Yukari said miserably. They say this place is having a negative impact on my morals. Naruto looked over at her. Gee, I wonder why. But it's not fair. When I wanted to leave they wouldn't let me. Now that I have you two they don't want me to stay. You do know this is all your own fault, right? How is it my fault? Yukari, Naruto said patiently. You made me sound like a child molester with all your talk about lovers and adult kisses and sharing beds. I mean, you're 11, you shouldn't even know about these things yet. I'll be 12 next month. She pouted. Anyway, I'm a genius and I know about all sorts of things. But why do you talk so much about it? Mocha asked. What else would interest a girl but and romance? But did you have to keep telling your mom? Naruto said with a grimace. Anyway, I thought you were working at the festival today. I traded with someone, so I'll work tomorrow. She reached up and grabbed a hand from each of them as she walked between. This way I can spend the whole day with both of you. Naruto and Mocha shared a glance. That's nice, Mocha said. Great, Naruto said. Then after the festival we can all go back to Mocha's place and have a threesome. Naruto shook his head. And you wonder why your parents are worried about your morals. XXXXXXXXXXX. The second day of the festival passed without any major incidents. Though they were all slightly annoyed to see a no ninja allowed sign on their favorite game. They ran into Kurumu and Mizore working at the different stalls. Kurumu had on a French-made outfit for a cafe. She asked Naruto if there was anything she could do for her, master. Mocha growled at her and Naruto got them moving before blood could be shed. Yukari was disappointed when at the end of the night she was not invited to join the two of them. Naruto and Mocha had been a bit disappointed that they had not been allowed to be alone together, but had both still had fun. The post-festival activities also helped make up for any disappointment. The following morning the two of them woke up looking forward to the festival's last day. XXXXXXXXXX. The buses came that morning from all points of the human world and from the various monster worlds. Out of them poured a vast horde of alumni, children, and parents all eager to enjoy themselves. No one took any special notice of two men who walked a bit separately from the rest and followed in their wake. One of them looked to the other and whispered with a grin on his face. So a ninja pretending to be monsters pretending to be human. Kisum laughed a bit. Just thinking about it is confusing. If at all possible we must find and capture our target quickly and quietly. Itachi was focused completely on the goal. Leaving this place is likely to be far more difficult than arriving was. Kisum smirked. No problem, I've always wanted to try and drive a bus. Following the crowd they soon arrived at the academy. There were stands choking the grounds surrounding the school. Masses were already milling about. I don't believe it, Kisum said. It really is a high school cultural festival. I wonder if they got any of those meat on the stick things. Itachi glanced over at his disguised partner. Do not become distracted. This will be a very difficult mission. Not only must we find and acquire the target in this mass, but we have no idea how dangerous these bystanders may be. Kisum snorted. Those two we replaced were nothing. Not all ninja share the same level of strength. The same may well hold true of monsters. Itachi warned. I'm not worried. Itachi shook his head a bit but knew it was pointless to argue further. He instead took out the only picture they had of the target. It was an 8-year-old picture that had originally been taken for a passport when the target moved to Japan. Surprisingly enough, the target had missed all his class picture days at school and had avoided being photographed. Having to rely on such an old photo was a bit of a handicap. But then how many people were likely to have spiky blonde hair and those distinctive scars on their cheeks? We have no choice, we will have to split up. If you can capture the target quietly then do so. Otherwise contact me. No problem, Kisum eagerly headed off in search of their target and a stand serving meat on a stick. As soon as his partner had melted into the crowd, Itachi let out a series of violent coughs. It was getting harder and harder to hide his sickness. Once the coughing fit passed, he looked out onto the vast crowd. Where are you hiding, Uzumaki Naruto? XXXXXXXXXX. Naruto and Mocha were just one couple on a crowded dance floor. Mocha's smile seemed to light everything up. Seeing her happy just reminded him of how much he loved seeing her smile. When the music halted for a short break, she led him away and back towards the outdoor stalls. I want some more cotton candy, she said cheerfully. It amused him sometimes, the small things that would make her happy. Despite all the pain and loneliness she had been through, she could still treasure the small joys in life. When he thought about it, he supposed he was a little like that too. After all, just being near her was enough to make him happy. Why are you smiling like that? She suddenly asked. I'm just happy to be with you, he told her. Laughing, she hugged his arm. I'm happy to be with you too, Naruto-kun. XXXXXXXXXX. Kisum had never attended a regular high school. Like almost all ninja, he had been in a ninja academy, then gone straight into the field. He found himself rather enjoying the festive atmosphere. He took another bite of the skewered meat he had and continued strolling through the crowded halls of the academy. The fact that he was completely surrounded by monsters did not bother him in the least. Unlike his partner, he understood that life was temporary and so should be enjoyed. Oh, he was serious about catching the Uzumaki brat, of course, but there was no reason not to have a little fun along the way. Walking along, he saw an interesting stand and approached it. There was a mat laid out and a large sign. Win 10,000 yen if you can steal his bell. In small print it mentioned a 200 yen entry fee required. In the middle of the mat stood a large fellow with an eye patch, crazy spiked hair, and a martial arts uniform. Hanging off his black belt was a single tiny bell. Oh, I have got to try this. Kisum hurried up to the stand and paid his entry fee. Kenpachi eyed him without any concern. You don't need to worry, I won't attack you, I'll just keep you from taking the bell. Well, that's awfully nice of you, Kisum said as he stepped onto the mat. Say, just out of curiosity, you wouldn't happen to know a guy with spiky blonde hair and 3 scars on each cheek, would you? Kenpachi raised a surprised eyebrow. You know Naruto. Now Kisum was the one who looked surprised. He hadn't expected to find anything. But since this guy was a martial artist, it had seemed worth it just to ask. Yeah, good old Naruto, me and a friend have come all the way here just to say hello. I don't suppose you could tell me where I might find him? Kenpachi frowned at him. According to Naruto, he doesn't have any friends in the human world anymore. So I'm afraid I'm not going to tell you, Jack. Smiling, Kisum dropped his henge and stood exposed for all the world to see in his true form. He took Samehada off his back. Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to insist. The sight of a blue-skinned, shark demon caused an immediate stir and people began to quickly leave the area. Kenpachi just simply grinned. You're a ninja just like Naruto, aren't you? I sure am. I know I'm going to get in trouble for this, but what the hell? Kenpachi released his true form and quickly began to grow and expand, needing to hunch over slightly to keep from hitting the high ceiling. He was a 15-foot tall cyclops. I've been asked to really cut loose in a fight for a while now. Seeing the huge monster standing before him, Kisum laughed. I knew this was going to be a fun mission. XXXXXXXXXX. The two of them were walking along in the middle of the crowd when a man stepped in front of them. Pardon me, but are you Uzumaki Naruto? Naruto and Mocha both stopped. Naruto eyed the man suspiciously. He was dressed in a cheap-looking suit and seemed on the heavy side with big jowls and beady little eyes. But there was something about him that immediately set Naruto's teeth on edge. You know, before asking someone's name, it's considered polite to give your own name first. Naruto said casually. The man nodded slightly. Of course, please pardon me. His image disappeared in a momentary puff of smoke. When the smoke cleared, a taller man was standing there in a black robe with red clouds, a leaf-high tie with a gash running through it, and red eyes. I am Uchiha Itachi. I see. He nonchalantly reached over and pulled off Mocha's rosary as he took on his 3-tailed kitsune form. As a vampire, he could have drawn 4 tails worth of power, but he thought being able to use jutsus more valuable. Mocha was caught by surprise as she transformed into her true form. The crowd was horrified to have not one but two incredibly powerful demonic auras appear in their midst. In a sudden panic, people began to scream and to run in whatever direction they could. Through all this, Itachi remained a calm and stoic figure. Naruto, what is going on here? The now adult Mocha demanded. This is Uchiha Itachi, a powerful ninja who once said his entire clan. He has come here to kill me. Itachi calmly nodded. To capture you is indeed the highest command given unto me by my organization. It would be best if you came along quietly. No one is going to hurt Naruto. Mocha raced forward with her usual blinding speed. She sent a kick straight for his head. Itachi made no move to dodge. Her foot smacked into his face and flowed through, meeting no resistance. His body seemed to melt and dissolve. It became inky black and suddenly hundreds of ravens burst free out of it. It is already too late. You are both caught in my genjutsu. Coward. Mocha cursed angrily as she seemed to be buried within a swarm of ravens. Try as she might, she could not get clear of them. Damn it, not good. From what he knew of Itachi, thanks mainly to Kurumu's efforts with Jiraiya, his Sharingan gave him incredibly powerful genjutsus. He brought his hands together to dispel the effects, or at least tried to. He suddenly seemed to lose control of his right hand and it instead grabbed his own tea and began to choke him. To his horror, all the skin and clothing on the right half of his body and began to peel away to reveal red fur and a fox's form underneath. He heard a wicked laugh fill his mind. The day has finally come, human. We both knew it would end like this. Now be a good little boy and just s. His left hand grabbed his other wrist and tried to yank it off without effect. Damn it, this isn't real. It's an illusion. It's not real. Kai. 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 The laughter boomed through his head again. Who says it's not real, fool? If it seems real, if it feels real, then guess what? It's real. Just the knowledge that it was an illusion didn't seem to help at all as his right hand continued to choke him. He fell to his knees as he tried to breathe. XXXXXXXXXX. All around him people were still screaming in panic. Itachi stood there and ignored them. To his eyes, Naruto was on his knees choking himself while the strange girl was trying to swat at and fight off an endless stream of invisible phantoms. Despite their obvious power, both of them had proven utterly helpless against him. In a moment the target would be unconscious. He would then simply toss him over his shoulder and leave. He was too focused on Naruto. Because of that he very nearly missed the attack coming in from above. As it was, he only just dodged at the last instant. Her claws still caught him. They right through his fancy robe and cut deep into his chest. His blood suddenly gushed out of his wound and he cried out at the unexpected pain. The sudden shock was enough to break his concentration and end the genjutsu, freeing them both. Suddenly freed of the genjutsu, Naruto let go of his tea and gasped for air. Mocha saw the swarm of ravens dissolve like mist. She then spotted Itachi with Kurumu flying back around for a second attack. What did you do to Naruto? Kurumu screamed as she tried to slash at his tea. In spite of the wound and its considerable pain, Itachi was ready for her. Her attack was much too straightforward. He dodged her claws easily. He brought his fist up into the spot just below her rib cage. The viscous punch expelled all the air from her lungs and sent her crashing onto a nearby stall. His victory was short-lived as Mocha came at him with speed he had no hope of avoiding. Coward. You think to defeat us with illusions and tricks. Know your place. She slammed a fist into his face and sent him crashing into a gaming stall. She looked around to see Naruto still on his knees. Naruto, are you all right? Still gasping for air, he simply nodded to her. From the stand's wreckage, Itachi cast a jutsu. I am not limited to illusions, grand fireball technique. From out of his mouth came a dozen fiery boulders aimed at Naruto and Mocha. The two of them were able to dodge away easily, but it provided Itachi the necessary distraction he needed to disappear. Meanwhile, the fireballs crashed through row after row of wooden and cloth stands, setting them alight, before crashing into the academy itself. The huge building began to burn. All the people now really began to panic as they were surrounded by fire on all sides. Screams not only of the frightened but of the began to fill the air. Not everyone had managed to avoid the fireballs or the ensuing fires. With people now fearing for survival, many of them dropped their human disguises to help them escape. Looking about, Naruto couldn't believe just how quickly his bright carefree world had turned into a fiery version of hell. Seeing the confusion, he shouted to Mocha, "I'm going to help get some of these people out of here." Kage Bushin no Jutsu. A couple hundred clones came into being. While he did not really see himself as the sentimental sort, he had come to care about the academy and the people of it. He did not want them hurt or cared if he could help it. The clones rushed around helping who they could. The original called to her, "Let's find Itachi." Mocha nodded grimly. XXXXXXXXXXX. Kurumu was still trying to regain her breath when she felt a pair of arms pull her out of the stall's wreckage. "You really saved me, Kurumu-chan. If you hadn't shown up, I don't know what would have happened." She looked at him. Despite his red eyes and deepened scars, she was very glad to see his face. "Naruto, you, okay." He smiled at her. "Yeah, thanks to you. Now let me get you out of this hell." He quickly carried her away. All around them, his other clones helped people who were trapped or injured. In a different section of the festival, Mizore used her ice powers to try and fight the fires while Yukari did what she could. XXXXXXXXXXX. A wounded Kisame came out of the academy. It had been a much harder fight than he'd expected. What got his attention as he exited wasn't that everything was on fire or that people were running around screaming. No, what he noted was that there were a whole bunch of spiky blonde-haired kids going about helping people. He laughed. "It figures, we can't find a trace of him for 4 years and now he's everywhere." With Samehada, he leapt out and eagerly began chopping off legs and arms as the surprised clones began to vanish in puffs of smoke. He'd find the real one sooner or later. XXXXXXXXXXX. Naruto was looking for Itachi when 3 nearby clones disappeared in puffs of smoke. He saw a kunai strike his cloak and bounce away. Looking up at the direction it had come from, he spotted a figure on the academy rooftop. "There you are," he muttered angrily. He performed some hand signs and was gone. XXXXXXXXXXX. "What are you doing?" an angry woman's voice called. Having just destroyed another handful of clones, Kisame looked up to see a beautiful girl with silver hair and red-stead eyes. He could sense the power coming off her. "Your clothing is like the other one we fought. Are you Naruto's enemy as well?" He smiled. "Ah, so you've run into Itachi." "Yeah, he and I are here to bring Naruto back with us. He has something we want." "The demon inside of him," the girl said with certainty. Kisame nodded. "That's right, we're after the Kyuubi. We have no interest in him otherwise. If you want, I'll even bring him back after we're done with the extraction." "Removing the demon would kill him," she said angrily. Kisame laughed. "I didn't say anything about bringing him back alive." She glared at him. "In that case, I am going to kill you. Naruto is my beloved and I will destroy anyone who tries to harm him." "Well, that's just fine. Before we do this though, could you tell me just what sort of monster you are?" "I am a vampire," she answered coolly. "Hey, so I get to defeat a cyclops and a vampire. Man, this is turning out to be a hell of a good day." He drew back Samehada and came right at her. She stood her ground and made no effort to dodge as he aimed for her N. At the last instant, she brought up a single hand and caught the blade. Kisame was shocked. As he tried to wrench it free, he found he could not pull it out of her grasp. "You think you can defeat a vampire so easily? Know your place." She pulled the sword out of his grasp and delivered a kick that sent him to the ground. She took his huge sword into both hands. The instant she did so, metal spikes shot out of the handle, subbing into her palms. Despite that, she continued to hold onto the sword. Kisame got back up to his feet. "Samehada was made specifically for me. I'm the only one who can wield it." He nodded toward her bleeding hands. "It hurts, doesn't it?" "It does," she admitted. However, she moved with speed he had never seen before and slammed his sword into his chest. With monstrous and inhuman strength, she tore it into him all the way to the handle. "My wounds will heal." Seeing his chest completely torn open, she released her hold. Kisame stumbled backwards and fell into a burning stall. He was too wounded to get up. Mocha calmly walked away as she heard his screams and smelled his begin to cook. Looking about, she wondered where Naruto had gotten. XXXXXXXXXX. Naruto materialized on the roof in his 3-tail Yukai Kitsune form. Facing him was a badly wounded and still bleeding Itachi. You don't look so good, Naruto said happily. Perhaps, but I am still strong enough to complete my mission. In that instant Naruto realized he'd made the same damn mistake as he felt everything around him turn to black. XXXXXXXXXX. Naruto found himself standing in the middle of a cemetery. Up above him there was a full moon. Looking at the tombstones they were all identical. Here lies the Kyuubi. What the hell? Naruto muttered. The image is from your own mind, a calm voice told him. But this place is the Tsukuyomi, the nightmare realm. Here I completely control time, space, and even all substance. Naruto turned around to see a completely unwounded Itachi. He ran at him, only to see him disappear before he could reach him. That is not necessary, Naruto. He turned around to see Itachi standing behind him again. I am not your enemy. Really? Naruto said sarcastically. You came here to kill me, you sure seem like an enemy. Like this realm, that is an illusion. In truth I am a deep cover agent still in service to Konoha. Naruto stared at him. You expect me to believe that? You said your whole clan. Was that to establish your cover? No, Itachi replied calmly. That was done to preserve Konoha from a civil war. My clan had been on the verge of launching a coup attempt. I was forced to choose between my loyalty to my clan and to my village. In the end I felt my greater duty was to the Hokage and to the village. So you killed your whole family in cold blood. Yes, all except my little brother Sasuke. But that has nothing to do with my mission. Naruto got into a fighting stance. I know, you're here to capture me. But to his surprise Itachi shook his head. No, I have come here to help you and prevent Akatsuki from acquiring you. In the blink of an eye the two of them were standing before the mausoleum that held the Kyuubi. What the hell are we doing here? As I said, Itachi replied. I am here to help you. He turned to face the two large eyes staring out at him. I have come here to free you from the Kyuubi's influence. The Sharingan, your eyes are far more wicked and cruel than mine. Naruto was surprised to hear what sounded like fear in the fox's voice. They are as evil as Madara's. I am nothing like Madara, Itachi said with a small bit of anger. Now be gone forever. Wait. There was a shake in the ground and the mausoleum sank quickly and quietly into the earth. Itachi turned back to Naruto. You are free now, I cannot kill him, but I have buried him so deep and so completely into your subconscious that he will never again be able to emerge. You are now free to acquire his power without his personality being able to influence you in any way. Naruto stared at him, not believing it. You actually helped me. Why? It is for the village. Akatsuki must never acquire your power. They are a lethal threat not only to Konoha but to the world. He looked at Naruto carefully. I am even without the wound inflicted on me today I would have SD soon. No one must ever know the truth. For my brother's sake I will the greatest traitor the village has ever known. You don't have to Naruto said. I have a way that can save you, even heal whatever is wrong with you. Itachi shook his head. No, it is best this way. I have done my duty to my village and to my brother, that is enough. However, I will ask two favors of you Uzumaki Naruto. One, I will tell you everything I know of Akatsuki while we are in this place. Return to Konoha and pass on the information to the Hokage. Naruto nodded. I will tell the Hokage about this, he said carefully. My second request is. Naruto frowned, he didn't like what was being asked of him, but he still nodded. I'll honor your request, I give you my word. XXXXXXXXXXX. Naruto came awake again on the academy rooftop after what seemed like hours. He saw Itachi gasp and collapse. He ran over to him and knelt over a gasping and pale Itachi. Will you keep your word? Itachi whispered. I will. Itachi nodded and closed his eyes. He stopped breathing, a look of peace on his face. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.